Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today I have a few important updates to share with you about the situation in Vietnam. So if you plan to enter the country or if you are currently checking what is the situation here to know how the country gonna evolve in the next weeks, this video is very important because there is some very fresh updates and I have some important things to share with you in this video. So if you saw my previous video, you may have seen that currently we are in Directive 16 in Ho Chi Minh City for about 3 weeks. And for a bit more than 10 days, almost the whole country is under the same restriction. It's a lockdown, the similar kind of lockdown you had in Europe, in the US. So we cannot go out, we can only go to buy food, go for instance to the hospital, to the pharmacy, only if we have an emergency. But beside that, we cannot take our bike to go outside as it was before. We try to handle and adapt our day to be able to overcome these tough moments. But again, because the good news that are happening now were expected, we see that finally what the country implemented was really the good decision, and maybe they implemented a little bit too early for some people, but finally we see now that they did it at the right time and they did it on the right way. So now we can finally foresee the end of the tunnel and the end of this lockdown. What has been happening very recently, I've been following a little bit the different situation in different districts in Ho Chi Minh City as well as around my neighborhood, and actually this morning I was able to take my motorbike and shoot you some of the videos. I had a reason and I'm gonna explain you why I was able to take my motorbike and to go to a different district, but I'm gonna talk about this in a minute. So what have been the situation in Saigon right now? They are very active on the vaccination. So I have some friends, their mom of about 65 years old got already vaccinated. Some other friends working for the normal companies already get their first doses as well. So the country is currently really into vaccinated as much people as they can with either AstraZeneca, Moderna or Pfizer. That's basically the 3 vaccines that are the most common in Vietnam. They actually got and managed to produce their own vaccine in Vietnam. So it's pretty good for the country because as soon as this vaccine will pass, and I think they are already starting some tests and basically implementing it, I'm pretty sure it's going to scale up and increase the number of people vaccinated. And even if you are not pro-vaccine, and I'm not someone who is basically naturally pro-vaccine, you still have to do it, right? Because you are a foreigner living in Vietnam, for instance, or even right now because of this global pandemic, if you wanna go to another country, you may have an easy way to enter the country if you are vaccinated. And because I've been postponing and I wanna go to Europe soon, it's been like about 1.5 years that I couldn't go to Europe, then obviously being vaccinated could bring you more benefit. So actually, this morning I had my appointment to the FV hospital. So the FV hospital is an hospital in District 7. I'm going to show you actually where it's located. And we had kind of an incentive from the French government to vaccinate all their French citizens. So this partnership is made with FV. And so they were able to vaccinate about 5,000 French people living in Vietnam, and so mostly in Hanoi and in Ho Chi Minh City. And to be honest, this is a very good action that they took, very proactive action. And as someone who just went there this morning, I saw that everything was handled very well. You have staff everywhere that were able to explain you what was the different step you have to proceed. And then in the end, when you finally get your shot, it takes like less than 1 minute. The staff is very friendly. They explain you everything. They give you some paper. They be sure after that you won't have, the side effect that some people may have right after having their doses. basically it was a very good experience, and I'm very happy that French people took this decision to, at least for the people who wanted to get the vaccine, allow them to get the vaccine. So District 7 is actually maybe around there. So it took me about 15 minutes by motorbike. While going there, I was blocked by some police. So the police ask you the reason why you are going out. And so because I had my appointment, I could show them, and they were like, okay, you can go to have your appointment to the hospital. So things are very, very strict on the street. Again, this Directive 16 is really to force the people to stay at home. But again, you know, it's just a matter for us to adapt a little bit how we work. I usually work very often online. I mean, my whole business is online, my customers are online. So finally, it's just to tweak a little bit and to adapt a little bit the way we usually work. And then from the other side of the district, I've been checking some location, and those places are hub for vaccination. So over there this morning it was pretty crowded, and again they are currently vaccinating massively the people who are old, the people who have pre-existing condition, and the more we are waiting, the more they are allowing like younger people to get their vaccine if they want. So it's a very good decision again that and a very good move that the country are doing, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna make the whole situation way better. And we already have feedback from what happened in the UK right now, that they are lifting up and they are letting everyone go out. And finally, when we observe what happened, of course the number of cases are going up, right? This is just because people are going out. So the more people are meeting, the more people are going out, the more the virus is spreading. But the important component is that there is not so many people entering into the emergency and have severe emergency care because of this virus. And finally, this is why the vaccination is important, and that's why when you are, especially in an emerging country, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Vietnam, I mean all the country in Southeast Asia, I think this is a must step that authorities have to do to prevent as well the spread, but most importantly, to be sure that they won't have so many people going to the hospital. And I've been seeing the hospital here for the last weeks is pretty hard. I mean, the hospital have reached their full capacity very early. And I think for a week or 2 weeks, if you have symptoms, you have to handle everything by your own. And there is some clinics that they can take care of you, but the costs are very high. So obviously, in an emerging country like that, I think taking the decision of having this vaccine is a very good move to be sure that the poor people, that the normal people, I mean the Vietnamese, right, who are not rich and who cannot afford to go to a private clinic, can have at least the care to take care of if in case they have an emergency. So this was the first thing I wanted to tell you. So basically, massive vaccination everywhere, especially in Ho Chi Minh City, because for a month and a half, this is where we have the hub, the highest number of cases. And then the second news is that I finally got my vaccine today as well. Everything went again very well. I'm going to see tomorrow if I have some side effects, but for some of my friends who took the Moderna, it's basically just some pain here and then some maybe headache, right, some fever, but the symptom is not that strong. And finally, because all those things have been implemented very early, you know, when you go to emerging countries like that, sometimes you find that it's a little bit too much. But finally, after a while, sometimes you realize that they took better decisions than in developed countries. Because in developed countries, you know, you have the politics, you have people go on the street, go on strike, complain. And here, it's more strict, right? So when they're going to implement something, you have to follow their own way. And then you cannot really so much complain and say, yeah, but maybe there you should do that, you should do that. Here is very strict. But finally, after a month of lockdown and of the vaccination that started, we already see that the number of cases are going down quite significantly in Ho Chi Minh City. And in a matter of weeks, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if everything is scaled up in the whole country, we finally may be able to tackle one more time the pandemic. So Vietnam has been kind of one of the only country in all Asia to tackle very well the pandemic. Of course, now they got kind of challenged back by this Delta variant, but I'm pretty sure because the authorities, they know what they are doing, and because now we have the vaccine coming here, I'm pretty sure things gonna go well very soon. And finally, the other news that I wanted to share with you that is very important, that was just released today, is that if you are vaccinated, you just need to go to the hotel for 7 days and then stay 7 days at home. It's a very, very big news because I have a lot of customers that were just waiting for that news to plan their entry. So either you are a foreign investor, either you are a business owner, you have a company already overseas, or you just want to find a job here in Asia. And if you are a talented, skilled worker, there is plenty of job for you. I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. I'm telling you that it's going to be a very hard journey, but it may worth it. And for those people, for the people who think outside of the box, who are just planning to enter Vietnam for a long term, then there will be solutions. And the solutions are basically the same as I was sharing you before. So it's either you find a sponsor here, a company that is willing to sponsor you and to provide you a job, or you open your own company. And in Vietnam, you can have a 100% foreign company. You can check actually this video that I made here if you want to learn more about this topic. But just to let you know that in Vietnam, because of the booming economy, because all the opportunity, there is a lot of things to do here. And many people were waiting for that moment, you know, the moment that they're going to lift up a little bit the restriction to let people enter the country. And obviously the quarantine, before we had 21 days quarantine, until very recently we had 14 days quarantine, but they asked you to stay 14 days safe, isolated at home. So it was still pretty hard, you know, to take that decision to say, okay, I'm gonna go and at least stay 1 month alone, isolated. It's very hard, I totally understand. That's why I even didn't make the move to go back to Europe, even if I can. But now, because things are getting, you know, more like clear, and when we see that the lockdown may be lifted up because of the current number of cases going down, with the massive vaccination that is happening in Ho Chi Minh City, I'm pretty sure that in a couple of weeks, things gonna get better. So if you guys are interested in coming to Vietnam, I guess this is very good news for you. I know many of my customers or prospects are just, you know, waiting for this good news to either launch their expatriation journey or just finalize all the paperwork to be able to enter the country. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, feel free to leave a comment. I'm always happy to see your name tagged below. Don't forget to leave the thumbs up. It's very important to let the video spread and to reach a bigger audience. And then I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'ma get it right, get on sight like